Come on in, pull up a chair, and take a load off because today I'll be reviewing and sharing a bit of how to play for Gates of Delirium from Renegade Game Studios. So, is this Lovecraftian game of bringing about the end of the world worthy of a space in your collection? Or would you have to be completely out of your mind to even consider picking this up? Well, you're going to find out right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. As I mentioned in the open, I'm going to be reviewing Gates of Delirium in just a moment, but I do want to remind you that if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell, because not only will it let you know when I upload videos such as this, I'll also tell you when my live stream, The Daily Dope, airs right here on YouTube, Monday through Thursday nights, as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, please visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, we're diving into Gates of Delirium, which is from Renegade Game Studios. It's designed by Jordan and Mandy Goddard, with artwork provided by George Cotronis. The game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, mainly because of the small pieces, the meeples, so on and so forth. Honestly, the rules are easy enough to wrap your head around. I could see 11 and 12-year-olds playing this, as long as they're not popping pieces in their mouths. The game does play in around 45 minutes and carries an MSRP of $45. So let's swing on over to the other camera because I've got Gates of Delirium kind of set up. You'll need a little more space on your table, especially for the player boards. But I wanted to try to, make sure that we get a good view of everything here. We'll kind of tour around. But first off, I do want to point out that the premise of the game is that each of the players represents a Cthulhu cultist or a Lovecraftian cultist who's trying to open these gates to bring about these monstrosities to Earth and, of course, bring about the end of humanity. So it all takes place in the northeast of the United States in Lovecraft country. So one of the aspects of the game that's kind of interesting is that as these Cthulhu cultists, you're kind of teetering between sanity and insanity. So you have sane actions, which allow you to you're looking for lost pages from different cryptic tomes, as well as map fragments, and you're sending investigators out to explore. Then on the flip side, you also have moments of insanity where you're actually trying to collect ancient runes and essentially bring about the opening of the gates so you can release these monstrosities. So kind of taking a tour around the board. This is the game board here. You're actually going to be placing your meeples who represent your investigators, which I thought it was pretty cool that each of the players have unique meeples as well as unique scoring tokens. These are a couple of scoring tokens I put up here to kind of give you an idea. So I thought that was very nice. I thought that was a nice extra touch that we've got unique meeples, not just by color, but actually by design. So here we have gate pieces. So as I mentioned, the main premise is that you're trying to open these gates. You're going to score points for the various gates, and you're going to score points for the monstrosities that come out as well. So when you're actually building a gate portion, you have to choose either one of these 4 that are face up or take the top face down gate piece. We have what we call desperation tokens, which are used to purchase special actions during a turn. We've also got some scoring markers. You notice here where you've got a scoring track. The scoring track goes up to 40. It is very easy for you to pass that score. So, of course, those are 40, and flip it over, it says 80. We do have some scrolls, which when they're revealed, will add a new wrinkle to the game. We have our monstrosities here. There are 6 of them, and they actually change in value. As you're bringing more of these monstrosities out, they become more valuable. Then we have this counter here. It's sane and insane. So you're going to utilize these action cards to perform your different actions, and they're broken in 2 halves. So we'll take a look at those in a moment. But depending on if it's a sane round or insane round will determine what you're able to do as far as those actions. One of the cool aspects of the game is you can spend desperation tokens, which you'll get when you play cards, and I'll show you how that works. You can spend desperation tokens to do a variety of different things. You can swap all these out and refresh this with 4 new gate pieces. You can simply score some free victory points, or you can also exchange a couple of your action cards. So you can draw 2 more cards and discard 2. So you have a hand size of 5. And one aspect I think is really nice is you can spend 4 of these to change from sane to insane or insane to sane. And you can do it while it's your turn. So it's kind of cool that you can kind of swap what's going on in that round based upon what you're trying to do with your cards. Of course, it costs a lot of these. It costs 4 of these, which you'll start off with 4. So it's not something you can do quite often. So we also have a deck of action cards here as well. And let's talk about what you can do during a sane round. So one of the first things you can do is you can actually send investigators out. Now, in order to do this, you're going to need to play cards. So only the actions on your cards are actually available to you. So if you do not have an action card that's showing a little icon with an investigator, you can't send investigators out. This would get you a lost page, and this would get you a map piece. Now, with the lost pages are worth 2 victory points. If you can get some consecutively, then they're actually double. They're worth 4 points. So that's kind of interesting. As far as the map fragments, there are 4 pieces to the map. There's the northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest, and you can score for more than 1 map. So you get 2 points for each fragment. If you have a complete map, it's worth 12 victory points. So a lot of victory points. So one aspect here that I do want to point out is as you collect these things. So for an example, a lost page, you're just going to slide it underneath your little player board here, and then you can stack them up. Same thing with the map fragments. You can kind of build the map because this is the northeast. We know there's going to be a southeast portion. You can build the map here. That's why I was saying you need a little bit of space, especially because you can also get ancient runes, but that is during an insane round. So what you're going to be doing is, let's say I'm green. I could play this card here, and this game is actually language independent, really, because it's just artwork as well as icons. And this icon shows there's 1 investigator, and it also shows 2 desperation markers. So that means if I play this, I can place 1 investigator. So let's say I want to place that investigator in Rockport. I'll lay it down so a little easier for you to see. And then I would also collect 2 desperation tokens. You're able to play 2 cards. You can perform 2 actions during your turn. So let's say this is still a sane turn. Then what I can do is I can play this and get a map fragment. And then that would be the end of my turn. And then it moves on to the next player. So the turns actually move very, very quickly. There's not much downtime in between player turns. And it's also important to pay attention to what other players are doing as well, because you're placing investigators out into these 5 areas, which each are represented by a gate, because when that gate opens up, whoever has the most investigators in that location is going to score victory points. Then the person with the second most scores fewer victory points. Third most also gets some victory points. And if you're playing a 4-player game, whoever came in 4th gets nothing. Of course, you do have to make sure that you've actually got an investigator there to get any points whatsoever. So in an insane round, you're able to either convert, you can use this to convert an investigator that's on the board. So let's say, as an example, maybe we had one up here in Innsmouth. I can use this action. I can convert them to one of mine. If you are out of investigators, then you just will swap places with one of yours. So that's one of the insane actions. Another insane action is for you to gain an ancient rune. And these are worth victory points. So, as I was showing you before, you would actually just put it under here, and then you would just stack them up. So, of course, the more ancient runes you have, the more victory points they will be worth. So if you only have 1, it's only worth 1 point. But if you have 5, that's worth 16 points. So you're kind of juggling and balancing how you're going to score your various different victory points. The third action that you can perform is to build a portion of a gate. So as an example here, it's showing 2. So that means I get to select 2 of these. So I would look at, we've got Kingsport, Innsmouth, Rockport, as well as Salem. The only one that's missing here is Arkham. But we see there's a number on these as well, and that's going to tell us how many cards does it take to open the gate. As the game progresses, you can have the same location open another gate. Because remember, there are 5 locations. There are 6 monstrosities that are out there that you're looking to bring to our reality. So to kind of share with you what this looks like when you make a gate, and this might not be super easy to see, but there's actually a line. You may be able to see it best on Innsmouth here. You notice there's this kind of corner here. And the reason why that's there is because what you're going to do is you're going to lay these cards out. So let's say I've got 2 pieces and I've built 2 pieces of the gate. You'll notice it's kind of making a circle, like a vortex. So this one takes 5 pieces. So that's the 3rd piece. Here comes the 4th piece, and then the 5th piece. And as you see, it makes this cool kind of vortex here. So once you've collected enough pieces of that gate, you're actually going to open the gate and release one of the monstrosities. And you are going to score those victory points for releasing that monstrosity. Now, there's also a little icon here with a scroll. So we have these scroll cards. There are 7 in total, but you're only going to have 2 of them out on the board. So what happens is you get to flip that over, and then it's going to change something minor. It's not a huge, massive change, but it's going to change the actual game itself. So Gatecrafter, at game end, the player with the most incomplete gates scores 5 points. So interesting. So what you're going to do is you're going to continue with, you open the gate, you're going to get the monstrosities victory points here. You're also going to look at who had the most investigators in that location. So let's say, as an example, it was something like this. So I would have the most, and the victory points are written right on the board itself. So I would get 8 victory points. Second player would get 5. Third player, if you were playing that many players, would get 3. Fourth player would get none. When that happens, everybody gets their investigators back from that region, and you move along to the next turn. Or, well, I should say, it is possible for somebody to play the gates and still have an action left. But now, because this has been played, that doesn't mean that the gate in Rockport can't open again. It certainly can. Now, inside the rules, it is going to discuss how many cards are available. It's right here. As far as each of the regions. So, for an example, Innsmouth takes 7 cards. So there are 22 Innsmouth cards in the gate deck. Rockport takes 5. There are 16 of those. So what you're going to do is you're going to continue on. You're going to play until all of the monstrosities have been released. Then you're going to tally up your victory points as you've been tracking. So as an example, let's say I open this gate and I got the 10. I would actually have tracked it to 10. But at the end of the game, you're also going to count up all your victory points for your ancient runes, your lost pages, your map fragments, and if there's a special card, as an example here, we had the Gate Crafter up here as far as the scrolls. And whoever's got the most victory points, of course, is determined to be the winner. And that is pretty much in a nutshell how you play Gates of Delirium. So let's swing on over to the other camera and I will wrap up, give you my final thoughts, and put a review score on this puppy. So if you follow the gaming gang at all, you already know I am a sucker for Lovecraftian games. All you got to do is say Cthulhu Mythos and I come a-running. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm easy on Lovecraftian games if they're not any good. But I just happen to have a soft spot for the Cthulhu Mythos. Gotta say, we've enjoyed playing Gates of Delirium. There's some aspects to it that may not pop out like just at first glance. There is a balancing act that you really have to take part in. If you focus too much on trying to open gates with your actions, because remember, you only get 2 actions. You only get to play 2 cards during your portion of the round. If you focus too much on gates and you're not getting lost pages, map fragments, ancient runes, you're going to be in bad shape. If you're not putting investigators out there into the regions when these gates open up, you're not going to be scoring points. And the thing is, remember, you don't have to be the one who opened that gate. You just have to be the person who has the most investigators in that region when the gate is open for you to score the most victory points. So you have to balance that a little bit as well. You also have to balance the insane and sane. So when it becomes your turn, well, I should say when everybody's taken a turn in the round, then this token is going to move to the next player. So everybody's going to get a chance at choosing, is it a sane round? Is it an insane round? And of course, keep in mind, you also have the desperation tokens that you can spend to change from sane to insane. There are a lot of little things going on under the surface of this game, and I enjoyed it quite a lot, and so did the rest of the gang as well. It might be a little light for people who are, really want to like a heavy Cthulhu kind of game. This is not Arkham Horror by any stretch of the imagination, right? So also want to point out, as far as the theming, the artwork is cool. I wouldn't say this is just dripping in theme. It's not just plastered on. I will say that as well. But the artwork, as far as like the monstrosities, I have no idea what these are supposed to be because they don't reflect anything that I'm familiar with in the Cthulhu mythos, which isn't a big deal. I mean, they're all creepy and weird looking. They have this kind of alien eldritch look. So that's cool. It's just nothing like, it's like, oh, okay, so that's Yog-Sothoth. That's Cthulhu. Great Cthulhu, I guess I should say. So thematically, it's good, not fantastic, but not just slapped on. So we've enjoyed this quite a bit. Is it going to be for everybody? No. As I mentioned, it's probably going to be way too light for those out there who enjoy epic challenges like Arkham Horror. Then again, this game does not take 3 hours or more to complete like Arkham Horror. You can wrap this up about 45 minutes, maybe even a little faster once everybody has an understanding of what's going on in the game. Anyway, all in all, like I said, I really do like Gates of Delirium, and I give it a very, very solid 8 out of 10. Definitely worth picking up, especially if you like the theme. If you're into Lovecraftian games, Cthulhu games, definitely check it out. I like the insane switching back and forth. Pretty fun. All right, that is it for this time out. Once again, let me remind you, if you like this video, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when I upload videos such as this, it'll also tell you when my live stream, The Daily Dope, airs Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news. And of course, when you're not watching videos at the Gaming Gang channel, swing on over to thegaminggang.com for the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. All right, and as I've been wrapping up all my videos during this never-ending pandemic, let me just say, I'm hoping all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. I'll see you next time. Oh, you're still here. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching this video. And of course, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, click right here. And of course, if you want to see one of the latest episodes of the Daily Dope, click right on up here. And if you want to roll the dice, take your chances, see what YouTube thinks you might like from the channel, give a click right here. Once again, I'm Jeff McAleer, and I'll see you next time.